Hey guys, I wanted to throw together just a quick video about variable frequency drives. Something I ran into in setting this up, and it's something I haven't really seen anybody else address. So the way this is currently configured, if we turn it on, we power up the VFD, we can kill it, but we still get power to the motor. Sorry about the shakiness here. My tripod's on the same table as the motor, so it's getting vibrations from that. So what's happening is the capacitors in the VFD are holding a residual charge after you hit the emergency stop. And that allows you to still control the motor even after you've hit the e-stop. So a simple fix, let me see if I can adjust this a little bit. And I don't know if this is common to all variable frequency drives or just these cheap Chinese import ones. This is basically the cheapest drive I could find on Amazon that would do what I wanted it to do. This is 110 volt input, single phase, and a 220 volt three phase output. So I assume that most of these cheap VFDs are going to be real similar. Any of these probably that you get, this AT series, they're probably all made by the same company and they're getting imported under different names. But this is the one I got. It was roughly $130 when I bought it. But you can see what it's doing when we turn it on. Obviously our motor control works the way we want it to. And we have the potentiometer here that I can control the frequency on. Everything's doing what it's supposed to do, but it's that residual power that's left in this after you trip the e-stop. And until that power bleeds off, you can still operate your motor. And that is a problem. So, simple fix, at least in my mind, we look at our sheet that came with this VFD, and you'll probably get something similar if you order one of these cheap import models. You're going to get something that looks like this that has all your different parameters that you can configure. And the one that we're worried about is right here. We have, let me get this in screen. We have 6 different inputs that can be set to any of these options. So what I've done, I've just taken the input 1 because I wasn't using it. We've programmed it to the emergency stop. Now we have to actually do something with that. So on our terminal board here, this is our emergency stop. This is the X1 input. So we'll hook that up. That's coming through our emergency stop switch, which this side's normally closed. That's supplying the power to our push button start, which is feeding the VFD or the contactor. So I've added on this e-stop a normally open switch. So when we trip this, it's tripped now. So right now, this side's closed, this side's open. That lets us control the contactor the way we normally would. When we activate the switch, now this side, which is normally open, is now closed. So that's going to close the circuit between our X1 input and this terminal, which is our common. It's common for all these inputs. And basically, to control these, any of these options, you just short to common, and that activates that input. So now, with this hooked up, if we run our VFD, we power it up, I'm going to hit the emergency stop switch. You'll see the contactor release. And now, when we switch the motor, our forward reverse direction, you can see here we're getting a signal for forward and reverse, but that emergency stop is activated, so we're not actually running the motor unless this contactor is on, which means you've intentionally hit your start button. You want it to run. Now it runs like it normally would. If we hit this, even though there's residual power, we're not able to control the motor anymore. And that's the way I wanted it to be set up. And that's something to think about. If you're working on a project like this, you might want to consider doing the same, because if you've hit your emergency stop for whatever reason, and this switch is still on, however you're controlling your direction control on your motor, doesn't have to be a switch like this. You could be doing it on the panel or whatever, but the residual power left in these capacitors is going to continue to run the motor until that bleeds off, even if you've tripped your emergency switch. So, something to think about. If you're doing one of these, I would highly recommend you set one of your inputs here to your emergency stop function and wire it to a normally open switch on your e-stop. That will keep you from running the motor in the event that you hit your emergency stop. That's all I got for you. Thanks for watching.